Good morning. Welcome to Options Tenor. Happy June 16th, everybody. It is Monday, 6/20/22. We are, the market is not open. Futures are, so we have a little bit of movement there. If you're a futures trader, then obviously the market's open for you, but not for everybody else. So, what we're going to do here, we tried to do a slightly educational show on Friday. We want to start doing a lot more videos that are for new people. We want to help them out, do some of the little things that we had to learn as traders throughout the years that really helped out. So this one's going to be a little bit longer because we're going to do the weekend video. We're going to do a little bit of education on the Doji candle, and I'll do it as we go because there's a couple dojis that are very important throughout each of the time frames. And we'll go through the Elliott wave count and some of the oscillators, the RSI MACD as well. So packed in here. Let's get to it. If you are new here, go down to that bottom right hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo, and subscribe. We have lots of good information on these videos. So, ES on the monthly time frame, we had that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move that ended. Now, was this a fifth wave of the fifth that is ending all markets here, or are we just pulling back to go higher? And that's the question that we have to answer. So in this fifth wave on the monthly here, we're going to check this out. Are we just coming back to make a 1-2? So we'll come back to the either 50%, which coincides with that 50 month moving average, or are we going to come down to the bottom of the channel where this 618 retracement for a wave 2 and move much higher? That's a possibility we're looking at, or is this something else that's much more serious? And if we're looking at the market from all the way from the bottom of 2009 and 2008, then perhaps we're coming all the way back to the 382 and maybe further. So I can even put the rest there. It just so happens that the 382 coincides with the 618, and that's why I put that there. And so it's very likely we'll see some sort of bounce at that. But I put on the 50% retracement from the bottom of 2008, 2009 there, and the 618. So is this more of a much larger one, too, that we're getting into before we move higher? I actually think that's more of the case. That's the camp that I'm in. And as we get down to these levels, I'm kind of thinking this 200-month moving average might be the way to go. It may not. We may dip through this 100-month and, start moving up from there. So that's a long way down. Yes, but the Fed is pulling out money. The Fed is no longer infusing and keeping and propping this market up. So anyway, sorry to spend so much time on there. We have the monthly candle. We want to look in depth here with this doji. Okay, we had this doji candle after the consolidation area, a couple months there. We popped down out of it, came back to retest it, and it made this doji here. A doji is neutral, you guys. So we really have to pay attention when it's a pause candle. It doesn't mean that because there's a long wick here that we're going to start moving up. We want to keep that in mind. But this was a pause candle, and we decided to go further down. So just keep that as always a neutral candle. Yes, it could suggest that higher highs were coming and all-time highs were coming, but everything else did not line up with it. So we have the 8-month moving average, exponential moving average that's starting to cross the 20 simple, and we're pushing off of that. Came back to retest it, pushing down from it, headed towards this 50-month. And the oscillators say the same thing. You have the MACD that had a bearish crossover some time ago, and also we had the divergence, bearish divergence of RSI, and we're coming down here past the 50 line and moving into bear territory. Okay, so that's to me in the long run, that's saying bear market, recession headed our way. it's not good news for everybody, but for traders, it does not matter. So, all right, going down to the weekly time frame. On the weekly, we have that same channel here that we're looking at, but we're checking out this supply area, or excuse me, this demand area. We came right down all the way. We bounced off of it at first and came back down and just cut right through it all the way down to the bottom. So we're having a reaction here. And we'll see where we go from this bounce. Some people are calling bottom at this point. I don't think that's the case. I think we have further to go, but this is a demand area, and it's very it's no coincidence that we're seeing this sort of bounce. At this point, we are clearly way oversold from this 8 EMA, so maybe that's what we're backtracking on. If you look at the oscillators, we're in a downtrend on the RSI. Are we starting to create, not on the MACD, but on the RSI, are we starting to create a divergence? Maybe, maybe slightly, but we're still in that downtrend, so I wouldn't put all my ducks and how do you say that? All my eggs in one basket, all my ducks in a basket. So we do have a weekly gap here that I would imagine that we try to fill. So it keep in this mind this number. Keep in mind this 3870 to 3890 area, or 3900 area. That's right where the gap is, and you see the point of the supply. Well, that can act as resistance now. We actually bounced off of it, and now it was support, now consider resistance. So do we test this? Do we close the gap? I don't have that answer for you, but I do want that to happen. The market doesn't care what I want, but I would imagine it would close that gap before heading down further. So we had this massive wedge, this rising wedge that we're breaking down from. And when you have a wedge that's broken, it's sometimes we come down to retest the bottom of that wedge. So that's a far way down, but it's around 2200, and that's very possible. That's a long time. We'll go week by week, day by day. And if you notice here, we have our downtrend. We're moving down. We're under the 8 EMA, 8 daily EMA. We pay close attention to that because that's our trending moving average. So we've been trending down from it, haven't been able to break above it. This time we're looking at, we had that bounce and we had this doji candle. This is what we're talking about for Friday. This doji is really important, what we really want to talk about. I don't have a big support here, but so we didn't know if we were going to get any reversal. I thought maybe we might get a little bit more downside, but we'll show you why it was possible we didn't on the 65-minute chart. So right here we had a pause candle, and you notice today in the market being closed, the futures market, that we're actually reversing and we're getting that follow through. We're over the day range from Friday, and to me that says we're going higher at this point. We do have some resistance here that we have to get over, the 3730 area before, but that might actually happen overnight, tonight, or even before the market opens, creating a big gap, and that gap up should give us a little bit of momentum to get past this 8 EMA and get towards this gap here area that I would love to retest. And you'll see in the Elliott wave count why this matters, but you see this huge resistance that, I put this resistance or now, support at the time way back in May. So that's still here. I think we try to retest it. I don't know if we'll completely close the gap, but if we do, that's wonderful. And then that would be very satisfying to move down from that point. So if we can go down to the 65-minute, I hope that was clear with this doji. That's a pause doji. We didn't know if it was going to go up or down after that. You have a pause doji here. Same thing. Pause. All these dojis were uncertain. That it creates uncertainty. Yes, this looks very bullish, and it did create that bullish move, but it very well could have dropped from there. But you see with that coinciding with the we saw this this doji, but it closed above support or resistance at that time. So that gave you a little bit more of a clue that we're moving higher at that point. All right, so let's go down to the 65-minute chart. All time frames have these dojis. So the higher time frame that you go, the more important that doji is. All right, so moving down to the 65-minute, we have this downtrend coming from the top of wave 2 there. We are starting to break that downtrend. We are having a little bit of trouble with this 3720 area, but if you notice, there's this pivot here as well that comes down this little white line. So with the wedge that it was forming, along with positive divergence here on the hourly, on the MACD, and on the RSI, we started breaking out of there, and we don't have much order flow. So when the market's open, that's going to matter. If we open above this 3720 area, that's going to really get some people buying coming in on tomorrow, Tuesday, and we should start heading up here. We do have the options expected move at 37.95, so we'll play pretty aggressive to that point. And then after that, that's when we're not sure how far at that point if we'll go up to the gap, because we have a certain wave count on here. This is going to be a good resistance at the 38.24. I think we have trouble there, and maybe that's where the wave 3, and we'll show you on the wave counts. Actually, I'll go straight there right now so we can see what we're talking about. On the Elliott wave count, we have our 1, a flat, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. So we had the end of wave 1 here, and then we have a 3-wave move up for A, a 3-wave move down for B, and now we're starting to get into a 5-wave move to the upside. And so we're looking for a 5-wave move to finish us off here. And if we get into this 382 area, and it looks like we have 5 waves in, we don't want to mess around with that. Once we get done with the wave 3 anyway, we don't want to mess with with wave 4. It could be a flat triangle. It could be all sorts of different complex corrections, XY, WXY, XYZ, whatever. So all sorts of things before we get a wave 5. But if we see some sort of formation forming like a triangle, then we can jump in there for just a day trade or so to get up to this 50% move here. And, that's something for very short term. Now, is it possible we get all the way back up to the 618? Because what we're looking at is a 1, this after a 5-wave move down for wave 1, and then a wave 2 coming back up here for the 618. And then we really want to start playing this wave 3 down if that's the case. Okay, so that's the count. It's a very bearish count that we have on here. There's something that's a little less bearish, but this is what we're keeping our eye on. Some people are saying that this is the bottom right here where this wave 1 would actually be moved over here, but it doesn't matter to me. It actually, we're still looking for a 5-wave move. If this is the very bottom and we have an A, B, and then C would be a 5-wave move up there, that's fine. It says the same thing. If this is the very bottom and we get a 5-wave move up, and then we just make a higher low and start moving higher, all right, well, then that's the case, and maybe we have a bottom. But we'll keep all scenarios in mind, but we're bearish on the market. Okay, that should do it for this weekend. If you're new here, go down to the bottom right hand corner, hit that option center logo. Don't forget to like the video. I'm going to keep all this education, and updates are going to be a little bit smaller in time, but we're going to keep these rolling for everybody now. We want the patrons. If you're a patron, there's different levels, but if this is helping you and you're just a YouTube subscriber, but you want to give back, then there's just a $5 tier for just whatever you want to call it, tips, or just want to help out with the channel and keep us doing this. And then also, if you're in the options guy, really cool area to stick around. There's a lot of traders in there that kind of bounce back and forth. Perian is a amazing leader in that. It's his channel, and he does a wonderful job. So he gets some great trade setups in there every single day, and sets you up for the week with a weekly watch list and things like that. So don't forget to join the option guys. All right. So thanks for joining us here at Option Center. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.